How's it going, Yu-Gi-Oh players? This is Hanx-Saber giving you guys my Deskbot deck profile post Breakers of Shadows. Very happy to bring you the deck, guys. Picked this up middle of November. Was really happy with the deck. I really like how it played. It actually has some similar elements to it as Pepe. Its ability to search cards in the deck is actually just tremendous. It's one of the most fun I've ever had playing a deck in a very long time. The extra deck is really cool. Picked up a lot of things, as you can see here, especially in the rear end of this extra deck here. But it's actually just a really cool deck. It has some nice things, all the bells and whistles, no pun intended. But if you guys don't know what the deck does, I'll go through it card by card. It's actually just really fun. It functions in its own unique way, and I'll get into the deck profile. And so this is the turbo version. It is competitive. I do like it. I have had fun playing around at locals with it, but let's get into the deck. So start off, one copy of Deskbot 001. This card is actually just really good. So basically this card reads, this card gains 500 attack and defense for each machine type monster you control, not just necessarily Deskbots. If two or more machine type monsters are special summoned at the same time, this could be via pendulum summon or machine duplication. Except during the damage step, you can special summon this card. So basically, when you special summon two Deskbot cards at the same time, special summon this card, then the only time you cannot special summon this card is during the damage step, which means that all of this effect. So if you guys know what 004 does, it special summons 2 when it destroys a monster, and that's during the damage step. So if you special summon 2 different Deskbots other than this card, you cannot special summon this card as well. So that's why that effect is there. But otherwise, that would just be broken, special summoning 3 at the same time. But 001, very, very good card. This card can go up to like 4,500, I think. It's just really, really good card. On top of 003 boost, it just becomes invincible. So it could be a beat stick by itself. People forget about that, but it's also really good for being used as a tuner. Being that all the Deskbots are different levels, you can make any synchro in the extra deck, pretty much. So that's really cool. And so then we play 3 copies of 002. I'll put 001 to the side here. So 3 copies of 002. So basically 002 is almost a Deneb at, I mean, I guess it's not as good as Deneb because it doesn't get its effect on normal summon. Basically, if this card is special summon, you can add 1 Deskbot card from your deck to your hand. But also, all machine type monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense. So, this card is really, really good. I mean, the deck really uses it in an efficient way. This card can be special summoned off 003 to start the duel, or even late game, you can special summon it back from the graveyard of 004. I mean, this card is used in such a unique way. Obviously, you don't really want this in your hand, but with the new pendulum support, it doesn't really matter as much. You can just pendulum summon it. So, it's very good no matter where it is now. I mean, it could be in the hand, graveyard, wherever. It's just very, very good. When you put it on the field, though, you want to get it off the field as soon as possible so you can special summon it back. And effect's not once per turn. So, I mean, opening this or 003 plus machine duplication is just a +6. So, we'll get back into that a little bit, but let's get into the rest of the Deskbot cards. So, basically, we play 3 copies of 003. 003 is really good because when it's normal summon, you can special summon 1 Deskbot from your deck. Now, yes, that could be a pendulum, that could be anything that you want. However, you really just want to special summon 002, because when 002 is special summon, you can add 1 card from your deck to your hand. This card can target any Deskbot card on the field and gain 500 attack for every Deskbot card you control, times 500, not necessarily monsters, cards. So, if you control pendulum cards, it would boost for that as well. So right now, the maximum amount of attack a Deskbot can gain off this effect is 7 times 500, which is 3,500, which is quite strong. When Deskbot Base comes out, the spell card, which is basically like a Cosmo talent, gives you a free mulligan a turn. This card could give a card up to 4,000 attack. So this card will be very, very good. Well, it's good now. It'll become better as more support gets going, I guess, for the archetype. But, I mean, the deck already has so much. 003, phenomenal card. I feel like the best Deskbot in the deck is 004. So this card is actually just really good. Better late game than early game, but still very good. When this card attacks a monster by battle, you can send any Deskbot card from your deck to your graveyard, and it gains 500 attack times that level. So you ideally want to send a 008, and it would gain 4k attack. It would become 4,500. Now your opponent doesn't take any damage, otherwise of course that effect would be broken. But when you do destroy a monster by battle, you can special summon 2 Despots from your from your hand or your graveyard with different levels. Now with that being said, if you only have 1 in the hand or graveyard, like the one that you sent, you won't get to special summon. You have to special summon 2 at the same time. Also, sometimes you could play it creatively. When 005 is special summon, you can pop 1 spell trap on the field. So if your opponent has a back row, it's almost good to send 005. It would gain 2,500 attack to get 3,000. That would beat over most monsters. And especially summon this back and destroy a back row. So it's really good. And plus your opponent can't respond really because it's on damage step. So it's a phenomenal card. So that's it for the Deskbot, non-pendulum Deskbot cards. Just probably the core of the deck, the most important monsters by far. So anyway, I really felt like this deck worked best when you played 5 copies of each scale, and I felt like it was most consistent. So let me get into what do I mean by that. So for the 10s, I play 3 5s, and for the 1s, I play 3 6s, 2 more 10s in the copies of 007s I play, and 2 copies of 008s for the 1s. So with that being said, so like 005, when it's popped in the pendulum zone, you can special summon 1 Deskbot from your graveyard, which is really good when you summon Deskbot Jet. It can really get you a lot of advantage. And then 006, when it's popped, you can add 1 from your graveyard, and that's really good if you add back 003. Now, when this is summoned, you can pop 1 spell trap, and when this is summoned, you can change a battle position, any monster's battle position, and both of these are not once per turn. 007 and 008 are from Bosh, so the newest set. These aren't as good, but they still play a role in the deck as they are extra names. They are really good for 004 boosts, and this can be turned, like you have 2 of these at the same time, you can summon Dracosac. I mean, these are really good because this gives 004 its highest attack. They don't have pendulum effects, which is kind of suckish, but when these gains 500 for every Deskbot in the extra deck, these gain 500 for every Deskbot in the graveyard, so these can become big late game. This card inflicts piercing battle damage, and this card can attack twice, which can sometimes come up. So, I felt, again, like 5 of each scale was the best. I felt like playing 3 of all of them was way too much. So, there are those. And then for the 1 non-Deskbot card monster we play in the deck is Hanx-Saber Birdman. The reason why we play Birdman, I feel like it's a necessity in the deck now, because if you open 003 or 004 with Machine Duplication, you can summon 004, Machine Duplicate it, and then make Gear Cross. Search this as your best target of Gear Cross, then target the 004 in hand, special summon this, and now like your best defensive play in the deck is having Gear Cross with Birdman and a 004 in hand. So no matter what they put out on the board monster-wise, you can just beat over it with 004, and then special summon your monsters out again next turn. So essentially, this is good for not being OTK'd, and then you could probably come back in the duel the next turn. So, which is really probably against like Pepe and things, because they just beat you down pretty hard if you don't have the correct defenses. So, for the spell cards, it's a turbo-based deck, so we play a lot of turbo-S cards. The best spell card in the deck, best card in the deck is Machine Duplication. This card is actually just a +6. If you normal summon 003 and special summon 002, right off the bat, that's a +2 because 002 will get an add. Then you Machine Duplify the 002, special summon 2 more 002s from the deck, that's +4, and then the 002s get adds, so they're +6, and you just get your pendulum scales, and you just pendulum summon away, and it's actually just a really good card. So I mean, this with 002 is phenomenal. So we play those, and these can also you also Machine Duplify your pendulums and things like that, like anything to get advantage. 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. This card's a combo-based deck. You want your combo pieces in hand, and we play 3 Chicken Game as well. Also, again, 005 can pop this after you use it, so any deck that can pop this after usage is really good, so your opponent can't use it. And plus, you can just then OTK. So, I mean, people don't like this card because it kind of can prevent you from OTKing. But if you can just, like, manage your resources, you can just pop this with 005 anyway. So, I don't really feel the need to cut this. So, I think it's just really good. Then I play 2 Terraforming to search the Chicken Game. I played 2 copies of Wavering Eyes. This would probably go to 3 in an event that played more Pepe. But I felt like 3 was way too much, and you can search the other one off the first if you destroy 4. But I mean, 4 comes up a lot if you set this against Pepe. I mean, it's really good. So it's also good because you get not only add a pendulum monster, but you get adds if you pop 006 or a special if you destroy 005. So this card is good. I did pick up Twin Twisters. I'm not playing Twin Twister in this deck. I opt to play 2 copies of Storm instead because of the fact that this card actually gets you more advantage than Twin Twister would. There's no card in this deck outside 001 that you want to discard, and so Storm is really a lot better because of the fact that you can pop your pendulums, get add of 006 or a special of 005, or you pop your chicken game, which comes up a lot, and then destroy their back row, their solemn strikes, their scales, or anything. It's just really, really good. So, I mean, Storm is good, and your opponent doesn't have to have back row. You can use this creatively to pop your own pop your own scales to get advantage. So this is really good. It comes up a lot when you have a tuner like 001 Engrave, and you have 005 on the field. You want to bring back your tuner back so you can trish them or something like that. It actually just really works out a lot. So 2 Storm is very decent. Then a lot of people playing Raigeki and Dark Hole. I felt like that was really bad because of the fact that those cards are -1, and even though this is 2, you can OTK without Raigeki and without Dark Hole, and those cards really weren't win conditions. While this card is. Limit Removal, very good card. You can use this. The fact that you can use this on your Despots, make them like, I mean, invincible. I'm talking like 9,000 attack points plus. I mean, this card could boost something up to 11,000 attack. It's just phenomenal card. You can use this on your Gigan Crosses, your Cyber Dragon Infinities. It's just a very, very good card. So, I mean, limit removal, phenomenal. And then for the 3 traps we play 3 copies of Reckless Greed. Now, the fact that people don't play Reckless Greed, I can understand. I never liked the card. However, the card is actually a lot better with Chicken Game in the lineup now, and it just makes it a whole lot more consistent to see 2 of these at the same time. You go +4, and you can make your combo plays at the same time. You want to see 002 or 003, preferably 003 or 004 in your hand with machine duplication. That is your win condition right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you win this game. So we want to play as many ways to get to that as possible. So I feel like the Reckless Greed was not bad. And plus you can get advantage. You don't need your draw phase after you get your combo pieces anyway. You can just keep on getting advantage, cycling through your resources. Make Despot Jet, recycle your resources. It's a phenomenal card. So I feel like the deck is a lot less linear now than it once was. Last format, we had to play we had to play Giant Rats to get to our pieces, and it was a lot slower than it is now. So the pendulums are just really good. Even though their effects aren't that amazing, their presence in the lineup is just very good. So onto the extra deck. Very, very stacked up extra deck. Very full, very compact. We play 1 copy of Despot Jet. Now, Despot Jet is really, really underrated card. Even though it's a common, it still holds its value. Usually you put this in defense position, sometimes attack. Against attack and defense, for every Despot card you control, similar to 003, you can pop a Despot you control, destroy, special summon 1 from your deck, also target, or you can target 1 Despot card you control and 1 face-up card in the field, destroy them. Either way, this card is phenomenal. I mean, both effects come up, but they're not, like, people think this is used as an offensive card, as a beat stick, when it's not. It's more used as like a Dante-esque kind of card, where if you have a 002 in graveyard and like a 005 on the field, there are 2 possible scenarios with this card. This comes up a lot when you have 002 in the graveyard and you have 005 as a scale. You can activate Jet, pop the 5, and then special summon another 002 from the deck. 005 will trigger a special summon a 002 from the graveyard, and then you can add 2 more Despots from your deck, and preferably 2 scales, and then activate them. And now this card already has 2,500 again. So, and plus 500 for the 2 002s. So, no, that would be 3,000 plus 1,000 more. That would be 4,000. This card becomes 4,000 if you activate that effect once. So that's really, really strong. And also, the other way is like if you have 005 and it's like a 006, you can activate the pop a Despot card to destroy 1 face-up card in the field. You can pop 005 to destroy 006 and get an add in a special, and the same thing happens. So, I mean, the actual effect is actually quite broken when people don't realize the significance of the card. So Despot Jet is really good, and it's going to get much better with Deskbot base when it gets its mulligan. So there's that. So we play one copy of Jet. Put one copy of my favorite card in the extra deck, which is Trish. With this, you make Trish like every game. It's such a good card in this deck. I opted not to play Omega in this deck because I felt the return from Banish Zone effect wasn't as good like it was in Infernoid. But I did play Scarlight instead. I felt like this card wins games a lot more because Pepe would put 5 cards out on the board. You could just burn them for 2,500 literally, and then just attack for game. If you have a 0/0/3, that'd just be game. So I mean, Scarlight was just really huge in the extra deck. Really good card right now. I'd pick one up. For the 7, I play one Black Rose. I mean, this is very easily to make. Then we play Metaphys Horus. If you guys don't know by now, if you have 0/0/5 and 0/0/1, you can just synchro summon these two, and this becomes a big eye and take one card they control, one monster they control, but they choose, so you have to be very careful with what you take. Play Barkion and Beast. These cards, this is a ball out against Pendulums. This could still be good if they have a strike or something like that. So there's that, and then I play 2 more synchros. I play High Speed Roid Chambara. This card's actually kind of broken in this deck, especially if you activate Lumina Removal. This card gains 200 attack every time it attacks and can attack twice. So if you Lumina Removal this, it becomes 4,000, then 42 when it first attacks, and then 44 after that. So it could be one monster OTK. And then you have Herald of the Arclight. If you sometimes against like Infernoids, it's really good to summon 0/0/3, then special summon 0/0/1, synchro for Herald. So they have to destroy this before they're reasoning. Same thing with Cosmos, I guess. This was really popular play in Necros in the LCG for a while to add Bryos. So just a cool piece of information there. One Sky Cavalry Centuria. This card is actually kind of needed in the extra deck. This is 2 level 2 monsters, so this is 2 Deskbot 2s. Sometimes, a lot of times, when you have a stacked board on the field, like literally your pendulum scales are filled, you have 5 monsters on the field, and you want to trish them, you overlay 2 0/2s just to summon this. So this way you have an empty space for your 0/0/1. You can just synchro and trish them. It's just really, really good play. You're going to see it if you play this deck. You're going to see this like come up a lot. So you do play the one Sky Cavalry Centuria. One Gear can cross. This card is really cool. You can play this. It's basically like a King of the Furlimps in this deck. It's just really cool. And it also adds from Graveyard, so that's cool. One Castell, just for removal. If there's anything I would like to cut in this deck, it would be this, but it comes up way too often. So there's that. And then finally, guys, play one Cyber Dragon Nova. When you summon 2 0/0/5, overlay for Nova, and the one Cyber Dragon Infinity. This card, broken card, it can take an attack position monster once per turn, and you can negate anything by detaching. It's just a phenomenal card. And then finally, one Mecha Phantom Beast Draco set. So, anyway, guys, this deck, as you can see, is no pushover. It's very good, very consistent. Its defensive plays comes within the extra deck. I can't stress that enough. It comes through Dracosec and Infinity. At the same time, you can just put out boards like 0/0/4 and hope they don't get over it. You know, they would need a spell trap to get over it, or they need Castell. So, I mean, I was actually playing Infernoids at locals. I came in first yesterday with Infernoids. I played Deskbots round 1, and I actually 2-0'd them, but he had a 4 on the field, and I summoned Saitama, and that's Undell. I didn't realize I couldn't get over it, so I misplayed. But nonetheless, this deck is really good, guys. I would really pick it up. I know this video was quite long, but hopefully you guys got something out of it. A deck I've been wanting to profile for the longest time, just never had the cards to do so. So, anyway, guys, this is Hanx-Saber signing off for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the post-Bosh deck profile. And that's all for now, guys. Deuce.